What's up everyone, Karue here, and I just won another tournament. But this time I did not play my best. I had to really work for this one. So in today's video, I'm going to recap the tournament, go over some of the matches, the challenges I had to face to win 6 matches without feeling very confident about my game. And with that, I want you to use some of these lessons to your game next time you're on court, that you're playing a match, you're not playing very well, but you still need to get that win. I don't have a lot of footage from the week, but I'll try to overlay with some of the best points and stuff. To be honest, when I'm playing tournaments, I cannot focus on content creation. For me, it's a distraction. I'm there to win. So for me, it just feels too disruptive to bring a camera or cameraman and focus on that stuff. I'm there to get W's. But I am working with UTR to get the full matches. So in the future, we can do full match breakdowns, all that fun stuff, really get creative with the content. So make sure you are subscribed to the channel. Also, give this video a thumbs up. It really helps us. We had some of you come and watching the matches. So thanks for that support. Let's keep growing the channel as we have been, and let's really get to that 100,000 subscribers. But anyways, going back to the tournament, definitely didn't feel good last week, and I had to apply a lot of the things I actually taught on our latest video about not feeling good. If you haven't watched that video, I highly recommend it. But in that video, I argued that you don't need to feel good to win matches. If anything, you're not going to feel good that often, and you still need to get your W's, and that's what happened to me this week for sure. So for the group stage in this UTR event, you have 4 matches. 2 of them were pretty straightforward. I played a decent level and was able to close them out pretty quickly. But 2 of them were really difficult matches that I didn't play my best. The first one was against a junior player who was going to college soon. Really tough matchup. He kind of took it to me on the first set. I just felt a little flat, not very into the match, to be honest. And he was able to just bully me around a little bit, big serve, big forehand. He did make one mistake that brought me back to life. After the first set, I remember he yelled a very loud "come on" off one of my mistakes to win the set, which is totally fair. We're competing in there. I hold nothing against him. But I did use it as fuel to just kind of bring me back to life to the match. It's like, I'm not gonna let a junior just outwill me here. You know, you just have to mind trick yourself to get into the match if you feel like maybe you're mentally not totally in it. So as I mentally got back into it, I was able to come up with a plan. Again, I didn't feel like I was playing that well from the baseline all week. That was where my confidence was a little bit low. I was serving well. If I was being offensive, I thought I was playing some good tennis. So I was like, I need to just make this fast tennis, take away his rhythm, not get into these long exchanges. And I think I threw him off. I started making some more aggressive returns. I had a very aggressive stance. Even on his first serve, I was inside of the court. The match went 3. He still went up a break in the third, but I was feeling good about where the game was. I was able to break immediately back and just really rely on my serve to get me through that third set. Once I got up a break, I served really well this week. It was my main weapon, so I was able to pull that one off. And the second 3-setter was actually a very interesting match. Was against another coaches at UCI. And this match was definitely, personally on my own side, my lowest level of the week. I just couldn't really find my groove. Everything felt kind of a little awkward. But a lot of it was also credit to Luis for not making bad decisions. We actually, after the match, I ended up winning 6-4 in the third. But after the match, I was like, "You're a coach, right?" Because I was like, "You don't make any bad decisions." He made errors, but he didn't make decision-making errors very often. So as we were playing the match, that's what kind of startled me. I think a lot of times when I play younger players, especially juniors or young pros, you know, I have experience. I feel like I'm making good decisions most of the time. But in this particular match, I was playing someone that kind of had the coach's eye a little bit and understood that it's like, maybe I'll just keep the ball and play one more time. I'll just play a ball nice and long and deep. and not panic. And that kind of made me panic a little bit. After winning the first set, losing the second, being the third, actually down a break, again, not feeling like panicked that I was gonna lose the match, but definitely a little bit of pressure on myself. Just had to keep reminding that if I do find, a better level here, even if it's for 3-4 games, I'd be able to like squeeze this one out. And that's what happened. I was down a break, but was able to kind of go back to my input, especially on my forehand side. That was not particularly that good that day. But for 3 or 4 games, it sort of like clicked. It felt like I could actually make every ball. And then all of a sudden I felt like a bit superior in the rallies. And with that, I was able to break back, kind of keep holding until the 4 or 5 game that I was able to break. Just had a little bit more confidence at the end of the match than I had basically throughout the entire match, which is, again, sometimes you don't have to play your best the entire match, but you find yourself in a situation where it's like 3-all in the third or 4 in the third, and maybe your best comes at that point, and that's all you really need. Before we continue, as you can see, I draw a lot of my inspiration for these videos from my lessons, from my time on court, because it's during that time that I see a lot of the mistakes players are making. So we made a free guide highlighting 3 of the major mistakes I see amateurs making, and obviously how to correct them. So if you're sick of losing points you deserve to win, go to top3mistakes.com and download our free guide. Again, top3mistakes.com. Just put your email, download the free guide. It's going to help a lot. We put a lot of work into this, and I think you're gonna like it. And now let's go back to the video. And with the 4 wins, I advanced to the first place playoff, where I played former number 67 in the world in singles, Ernesto Escobedo. I was really looking forward to this match. Obviously a guy who has been top 100. He's recovering from an injury right now, getting back on tour. But it's always a fun challenge to see where your level is at versus players of that caliber. I obviously know Ernesto. He trains here in California. We've played multiple times in practice. So I know one thing. He hits the shit out of the ball. So I have to be in offense. I can't just try to be too passive, leave balls like floating in the middle, waiting for errors. That sometimes you get away with that stuff against lower level players, but against players like him, you won't get away with that. We had a really close first set, no breaks, just both players taking care of the serve, being offensive off the first ball. I was trying to serve and volley and break away the rhythm because I felt like it was hard to win just from the back because he's so powerful. So I had to find ways to take his time away, make him move, get to the net. He ends up going to a tiebreaker that I played pretty well, served well, came up with some good shots to be able to steal that tiebreaker. And then at 1-all in the second set, Ernesto unfortunately had to retire. Again, he's coming back from an injury. He played a lot of matches that week already. There was no reason for him to force anything. So I advanced to the final. Final was an absolute battle. My opponent, Polish player, Maciej Rajski. I'm sorry if I butchered that. But man, he's a really tough out. He's won a lot of these UTR events. He basically cleaned them up last year here in Newport. And for a good reason. Very crafty player, great serve, one-handed backhand, lots of variations, slices, spins. He really controls the tempo of the match. It's not fast. Everything's happening a little bit slower, gives you a little more time to think about each shot. It's tricky to play players like that. And I knew that coming in. I've seen him play, and I had my strategy that, I had to be the offensive person trying to serve and volley, so he doesn't get away with any blocked returns and that slow tempo, because the longer you stay in that slow tempo, the worse it is for you. You need to keep adding pressure. But at the same time, it's easy to overplay, to do too much. So sometimes there are times where you just have to chill out, wait for an opportunity. So it's a really like cat and mouse style kind of match. And we both served really well. There was only 2 breaks. On the first game I broke, and he broke me right back. And after that, there were no more breaks of serve. And the match was just tense all the time. There were definitely, break point chances both ways. And the games were long, the points were kind of long. I didn't feel like I was playing my best. But again, it's credit to his style of playing tennis. It makes things kind of awkward, kind of difficult. There's a little bit of wind. So, you know, it's just like, it's hard to be offensive off those conditions. So basically I kind of had to let go of the idea that I was going to play very well that match and just try to ride the things that were working, which was basically my serve. I was serving really well, I had like 14 aces. And essentially just try to hold serve, and maybe I'd get a chance to break at some point and maybe pull away. I had some opportunities to break, never happened, and we actually ended up playing 2 tiebreakers. The first one, it was 7-0 me. To be honest, I just kind of got a lead and just ran with it. Nothing crazy happened there. And after a really 10-second set, I saved set points in the first set points in the second set, but I was able to get to the tiebreaker, and that was a battle in itself. I eventually find myself 2 set points down that I was able to save with some pretty high quality tennis. And for that point, it's obviously, everything's very tense. The level is like sometimes pretty high, sometimes pretty low. He missed a couple second serve returns on set points that were just gifts. And finally, I find myself with a match point. He misses the first serve, has the second serve, and in my head, I was like, I just have to have the balls here for it. I had to, what would Carlitos do here? Probably run around and smack a forehand with courage, right? So, you know, I channel my inner Carlitos, ran around the second serve, smacked it to come in, smacked it down the line to come in, and had kind of like a tough overhead that got a little behind me, but was able to knock it down and finish the match. But all in all, was able to win all my 6 matches. Again, not necessarily that pretty. This time I thought my level was higher on the last tournament, but I'm proud of how I competed, and not only that, how I managed all those emotions, all those like nuances of a match that, again, goes far beyond just technical issues. It really is all in your head. But now on to some of the lessons I think you can take from my experience and try to add to your game. I think the first thing is to rely on the things that are working that day, that set, that game, to carry you through the finish line instead of focusing so much on what's not working. For example, my serve was really good this week. It got me out of a lot of trouble. So there were times where I just settled back and I was like, you know what, my serve is good this week. Let's just take care of my serve here, and I will get my chances as we go along. The second thing was stay mentally in it. It's very easy to check out. You know, I felt a little bit checked out in some of the matches, like F this, I'm done, not playing well. But I was able to reel myself back in and try to find the solutions. It could be solutions on my own side, like what can I do here to maybe hit a better ball? Or strategically, like what can I do to hurt my opponent, make things a little bit easier on my side. You just can't check out mentally from the match and not look for solutions, because if you do that, you might as well not even step on court. Number 3 ties into number 2 is keep the pressure on. If you mentally don't check out, you will keep the pressure on the other side. The opponent is going to know that you're there. You might be losing, you might not be playing your best, but you're there. And if you slip, I'm gonna come get you. I might be feeling pressure, but so is my opponent. We're on the same boat, right? So I just need to be mentally in it and really embrace that pressure, because when the moment comes where it could be just that one break point you get, or you know, that one easy mistake that he makes that opens a door, you gotta be ready to take it, right? And then you keep that pressure on. All of a sudden, they have a lot more pressure on them than you have on you. And all of that can be summarized by my new favorite tennis quote from my idol, Carlitos, which is cabeza, corazón, cojones. Got those 3 all working together, you're more likely to win. You're not guaranteed to win, and none of us really hits the ball like Carlitos, but we can apply that mentality to our game. But now I gotta go get ready for another tournament. One more, back-to-back weeks. Body's feeling it a little bit, but it's a great event in Ojai. And I'm ready for it. So wish me luck. Hopefully I'll have one more video where I won a tournament. But thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys on the next one.